Imagine a world where everything you've ever known stops growing the moment you stop learning. Imagine your mind as a tree, its branches stretching toward the sky, but the day you decide you know enough, the branches stop, the leaves wither, and the tree slowly dies. This is not just imagination, it's reality. The human brain is designed to expand, adapt, and grow, but it only thrives on one fuel: learning. Without it, no matter how powerful, how successful, or how talented you are, you eventually fade. That's why the last step to greatness, the final secret to success, is simple yet profound: never stop learning. History is filled with people who proved this truth. Think of Leonardo da Vinci. He was not just a painter, not just an inventor, not just a scientist, he was all of them, because he never confined himself to one field. His curiosity was endless. He saw learning as breathing, something you do every day, or you die. Then there was Benjamin Franklin, who, even while running a printing press, while founding a country, while shaping ideas of freedom, still dedicated himself to daily study. And in our own time, we look at people like Elon Musk, who didn't just rely on what he studied in school but devoured books on physics, coding, and rocket science until he turned impossible dreams into reality. Learning is not a classroom, not a degree, not a certificate, it's a lifelong journey. The day you think you've reached the top, life will remind you that the mountain of knowledge has no peak. Every discovery leads to another question, and every question is an invitation to grow. That's why those who never stop learning are the ones who remain timeless. They don't just adapt to change, they create change. But let's bring this closer to you. Think of a time you achieved something important. Maybe you learned a new skill, passed an exam, or mastered a challenge. In that moment, you felt powerful, unstoppable. But what if you had stopped there? What if you said, "I know enough"? That feeling of power would have vanished, replaced by stagnation. Because success is not a point on a map, it's a road without an end, and learning is the vehicle that keeps you moving. The most dangerous words a human can speak are, "I already know." They kill growth, shut down curiosity, and lock the door on possibilities. Life doesn't slow down to wait for you. The world keeps evolving, technology advances, cultures shift, new ideas are born every second. The only way to remain alive in this storm of change is to keep learning. And here's the beauty of it: learning doesn't always mean books or classrooms. It means being open, open to people, open to mistakes, open to failure, open to trying again. Every person you meet knows something you don't. Every failure you face holds a lesson you need. Every story, every struggle, every challenge is a teacher. The question is, are you willing to listen? Think of Thomas Edison. He failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Each failure was a lesson. Imagine if he had stopped after his 100th attempt, saying, "I've failed enough. I already know enough." The world would still be in darkness. Or imagine if Marie Curie, after her first scientific success, decided she had learned all there was to learn. She wouldn't have discovered radium, and medicine would have lost one of its greatest revolutions. Greatness doesn't come from one moment of brilliance, it comes from a lifetime of learning. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who worked in a small shop, selling goods just to survive. People thought he was ordinary, nothing special. But every night, after work, he read books, studied ideas, practiced skills. Years passed. Slowly, the knowledge he gathered turned into wisdom, and wisdom turned into power. One day, he left the shop and started a business. That business grew. Later, he taught others what he had learned, and they grew too. What changed his destiny? Not luck, not money, not connections. It was one decision: that he would never stop learning. Your life can change in the same way. Maybe you are in a small room today, maybe you feel stuck, maybe the world has overlooked you. But the one thing no one can take away from you is your ability to learn. If you protect it, nurture it, and use it, it will open doors you never imagined possible. And yet, here's the twist: the moment you think you've learned enough is the moment life will test you. Because the world is not kind to those who remain still. Knowledge becomes outdated, skills become irrelevant, and opportunities slip away. That's why learning must be endless, like breathing. You cannot take one breath and say, "That's enough for a lifetime." You breathe every moment, or you die. So, ask yourself, are you still breathing? Are you still learning? Or have you allowed yourself to believe that you've reached the end? Because here's the warning: the end is not when life stops. The end is when you stop learning. And this brings us to the secret most people miss. The greatest achievements in your life are not found in what you already know, they are hidden in what you don't yet know. Every book unread, every skill unpracticed, every lesson unlearned is a door locked, waiting for you to find the key. And the key is one choice: never stop learning. But what happens when someone truly embraces this choice? What kind of life do they create? That, my friend, is where the real story begins. When someone decides never to stop learning, their entire life transforms, not just in one area, but in every direction. Their career begins to grow, not because of luck, but because they keep adapting while others stand still. Their relationships deepen, because they learn empathy, patience, and the art of listening. Their personal strength multiplies, because with every lesson, they build resilience. Think about water. When it flows, it stays fresh and alive. But when it stops moving, it turns stagnant, dark, and poisonous. Human beings are the same. The flow of learning keeps you alive, sharp, and evolving. The moment you stop, you may still exist, but you stop truly living. Learning is the bridge between who you are today and who you are capable of becoming tomorrow. It's not about comparing yourself with others. It's about becoming more than you were yesterday. The person who learns today will always have an advantage tomorrow. But let's be honest, this path is not easy. The world often laughs at those who start late, who struggle to learn, who fail before they succeed. But history is full of people who proved the mockery wrong. Colonel Sanders was 65 when he began learning how to build his fried chicken business. At an age when people retire, he was learning marketing, partnerships, and persistence. Today, his legacy feeds millions. Or take Nelson Mandela, who spent decades in prison. Instead of letting time kill him, he spent it learning, studying law, politics, and human behavior. When he walked out, he didn't just step into freedom. He stepped into history as a leader who had prepared himself for greatness through relentless learning. And you, yes, you, have the same power. You may think, it's too late, or, I don't have the resources. But the truth is, learning doesn't always need money. It needs hunger. It needs curiosity. It needs the fire inside you that refuses to die. In today's world, knowledge is everywhere, on your phone, in conversations, in mistakes waiting to teach you. If you truly want to grow, the universe will always give you lessons. Now imagine two roads. On one road walks the man who stopped learning. His steps are heavy, his vision is limited, his opportunities are fewer every year. On the other road walks the one who never stopped learning. His steps are light, his vision is wide, and his opportunities multiply with time. The difference between them is not talent, not wealth, not luck. It is the decision to learn, or not to learn. And this decision doesn't just affect your career or your mind. It shapes your very soul. A mind that keeps learning stays young, no matter how old the body becomes. That is why some people in their 70s inspire like 20-year-olds, while others in their 20s already act as if life is over. The difference is learning. The heart that remains curious never grows old. Learning also heals. When life breaks you, when pain seems unbearable, learning teaches you resilience. It teaches you that storms pass, that failure is not the end, that every wound carries wisdom. Those who never stop learning don't just survive, they transform their pain into power. They rise stronger than before, because they see every fall as a teacher. Let me tell you another story. There was once a young girl who lost everything in a fire: her home, her family, her future. People said her life was over. But instead of giving up, she decided to learn. She learned how to sew, then how to design, then how to build a business. Years later, she became a world-renowned fashion designer. What saved her was not luck. It was her decision to keep learning, even when life gave her nothing. And this is the truth you must carry. Learning is the light in darkness. It is the hand that pulls you out of despair. It is the map that shows you new paths when old ones are destroyed. When you keep learning, nothing, not even tragedy, can destroy you completely. But here's the final question, the one that decides everything: what happens when your time comes? When your life is about to end, what will you regret? Most people regret not what they did, but what they never tried to learn. They regret the languages they never studied, the skills they never practiced, the wisdom they never sought. They look back and realize that life was not about reaching a final step. It was about walking a path of endless discovery. And this, my friend, is the dokai, the moment of realization. Life itself is a classroom, and death is graduation. The question is, when your graduation day comes, will you leave with an empty notebook, or with pages filled with lessons, stories, and wisdom? Will you be remembered as someone who stopped learning, or as someone who carried the torch of curiosity until their last breath. The truth is simple but unforgettable: the last step to greatness is never the last step. Because the moment you take it, another step appears. The journey of learning is infinite, and only those who walk it truly live. So don't stop, don't settle, don't close the book, because your story is not finished, and the world still has lessons to teach you. Never stop learning, because that is the last step, and the first step, to everything.